Oklahoma City University. gentlemen, will you please rise for the presentation of the colors and remain standing for the national anthem and invocation. The colors are being presented today by Cadets Trevor Doherty, Kimberly Martin, and Josie Sanchez from the University of Central Oklahoma, and Cadet Lester Joash from Oklahoma Christian University. Our national anthem will be led by Walker Daniel Degernis, who is receiving his Bachelor of Music today from the Basque School of Music. You will find the words to the national anthem on page 40 of this program.
Freezing arms.
This morning's invocation is led by Michelle Dawn Owen, who will be receiving her Bachelor of Arts today from the Wimberley School of Religion.
Would you join me in an attitude of prayer? God of wisdom and wonder, God of compassion and calling, God of strength and sorrow, God of laughter and longing, we come to you today with hearts full of gratitude for all that we've been given. We are appreciative of our families, friends, professors, mentors, and others who supported us in our endeavors of education. We are thankful because we know that we have been granted a privilege that many will never have the opportunity to experience. Yes, God, we are grateful. But we aren't just celebrating an achievement. We are moving on to a new portion of our lives. and beginning a new phase which is unknown to us at this time. When our path seems unclear, help us to rely upon the knowledge that we've gained here and to lean upon the people that have been supportive of us thus far. We are not called to be sojourners, solitary on the way of life, but to be members of communities that help us to be more than we ever thought, dreamed, or imagined. In the name of the one who is, who was, and who will always be. Amen.
Guard. Mark 9. March. Left. Forward. March.
Before I begin, I'd like to thank all the people that made it possible for me to be here today. Thank you to my mom and dad. Without both your emotional and financial support, I could have never had the opportunities I've enjoyed these 4 years. Thank you for sitting. Get comfortable. Thank you to my extended family for traveling hundreds of miles just to be able to congratulate me this morning. Thank you to my grandparents for making the trek all the way to Oklahoma City. They once told me they hoped to be at my high school graduation, and I'm so grateful that 4 years later, at 86 and 90 years old, they've made it to my college graduation. Thank you to all the faculty and staff, but thank you specifically to Dr. Mark Griffin in the language department. I did actually not have my language credits until roughly 3 weeks ago, and without his help, I would still be enrolling in the fall. Lastly, thank you to my friends, my peers, and all the students here at OCU. Without your votes of faith in me, I would not be standing here today. Frankly, it's hard to write a graduation speech. I have no deep wisdom to impart, I have no professional experience to aid you in future careers, and am in no way qualified to give you advice. Only a few weeks ago, I first learned how to mail an envelope. However, I have had the pleasure of serving as the president of the Student Government Association, and would like to share with you a little bit about my experience in office. When I was running for election, I pledged to change the grading policy at OCU. And you would be surprised how difficult it is to completely change the way in which an academic institute operates. I put countless hours into writing surveys, collecting data, and doing research until eventually I believed I had a report that presented the information in a way that would convey the faculty and staff at OCU to see the benefits of making a change. I compiled a report and went through the proper channels to accomplish what I had set out to do and what the student body mandated I do. I presented that report to the provost, to the faculty senate, and eventually to the board of trustees. And with each subsequent presentation, I began to realize the impossibility of what I was doing. Despite the research, despite the data, and despite the student interest, the idea of changing the grading policy simply wasn't gaining traction. In the final few weeks of my presidency, I found myself consumed with the idea that I had failed to do what I had promised. I had failed to effect the change I so desperately sought. It was only until I was sitting in my securities analysis class, listening to Dr. James Ma talk about success, when I started feeling differently. He said, "I know all students care about their grades, and they should. But if you get good grades in this class and learn nothing, you have failed as students, and I have failed as a professor." I'll read that one more time. If you got good grades in this class and learned nothing, you failed as students, and I have failed as a professor. I did not change the grading policy. I did not follow through with my promise, and I did not achieve the same success as some of my predecessors. But I did learn something. I learned that failure at its very core is not what we are defined by. All of us will fail at some point. We are defined rather by how we are affected by that failure, how we take that failure and learn from it in a way that makes us better professionals, better leaders,